In the annals of organized crime, few names evoke as much fear and fascination as Anthony Casso. Known for his ruthless tactics and unrelenting pursuit of power, Casso carved a notorious path through the criminal underworld. His reign of terror, marked by a series of brutal acts and high-profile criminal enterprises, has cemented his legacy as one of the most feared gangsters in American history. This comprehensive examination delves into his rise to power, criminal activities, and the eventual downfall that marked the end of his reign. Early life and rise to infamy. Anthony Casso was born on October 21, 1942, in Brooklyn, New York. Growing up in the rough-and-tumble neighborhoods of the borough, Casso was exposed to crime and violence from an early age. His father, a small-time hoodlum, was involved in petty crime, setting a precedent for his son's future endeavors. Casso's early life was marked by a lack of stability and direction, factors that would later contribute to his deep involvement in organized crime. From a young age, Casso was drawn to the criminal lifestyle. He began by committing petty crimes, gradually escalating to more serious offenses. His initial forays into crime were marked by a combination of street smarts and sheer audacity. By his late teens, Casso was already making a name for himself as a violent and ambitious young criminal. Casso's early criminal career was characterized by a series of bold and brazen acts. He quickly gained a reputation for his willingness to use violence to achieve his goals. This reputation attracted the attention of established mobsters, who saw potential in the young thug. By the early 1970s, Casso had firmly entrenched himself in the criminal underworld, aligning himself with the Lucchese crime family. Ascendancy within the Lucchese crime family. The Lucchese crime family, one of the 5 families that dominate organized crime in New York City, was the launching pad for Casso's rise to power. His affiliation with the Lucchese family provided him with the protection and resources necessary to expand his criminal enterprises. Casso's ruthless efficiency and willingness to commit heinous acts quickly earned him the trust and respect of the family's higher-ups. Casso's criminal activities ranged from loan sharking and extortion to drug trafficking and murder. His involvement in the drug trade was particularly lucrative, allowing him to accumulate significant wealth and power. By the late 1970s and early 1980s, Casso was a prominent figure within the Lucchese family, commanding fear and respect from both his associates and his enemies. Casso's ascent within the Lucchese crime family was marked by his involvement in several high-profile criminal enterprises. One of his most notorious roles was as a key player in the family's drug trafficking operations. Casso's ability to manage and expand these operations was a testament to his organizational skills and ruthless determination. The Gaspipe moniker. The nickname Gaspipe was not merely a colorful moniker, but a reflection of Casso's reputation for brutality. The origins of the name are shrouded in myth, but it is widely believed that it was derived from his preferred method of intimidation. Casso was known to use a gas pipe as a weapon, delivering vicious blows to his victims and instilling fear in those who crossed him. The moniker Gaspipe became synonymous with Casso's reputation for violence and terror. It was a name that struck fear into the hearts of his enemies and served as a constant reminder of his willingness to resort to extreme measures to maintain his power. The name, coupled with his violent tendencies, contributed significantly to Casso's fearsome reputation. High-profile crimes and brutal acts. Anthony Casso's criminal career was marked by a series of high-profile crimes and brutal acts that solidified his reputation as one of the most feared gangsters of his time. His involvement in murder, extortion, and drug trafficking was notorious, with each crime adding to his infamy. One of the most significant aspects of Casso's criminal career was his involvement in a series of high-profile murders. Casso was implicated in numerous homicides, many of which were carried out with shocking brutality. His willingness to eliminate anyone who posed a threat to his interests made him a formidable adversary in the criminal underworld. Casso's role in the murder of several key figures within the Lucchese crime family is particularly notable. In many cases, these murders were carried out to eliminate rivals or consolidate his power within the organization. Casso's involvement in these crimes demonstrated his willingness to go to extreme lengths to achieve his goals. In addition to his involvement in murder, Casso was heavily involved in extortion and loan sharking. His methods of intimidation and violence were well known, and his reputation for ruthlessness made him a feared figure in the criminal world. Casso's ability to exert control over his victims through fear and violence was a key factor in his success as a gangster. Casso's involvement in the drug trade was another major aspect of his criminal career. The profitability of drug trafficking provided him with significant financial resources and further solidified his position within the Lucchese crime family. His operations in this area were characterized by a high degree of organization and efficiency, contributing to his success and notoriety. The downfall and betrayal. Despite his seemingly unassailable position in the criminal underworld, Anthony Casso's reign was not destined to last forever. His downfall came about as a result of a combination of law enforcement pressure, internal power struggles, and betrayal from within his own ranks. The early 1990s marked a period of increased scrutiny and pressure from law enforcement agencies. Casso's criminal activities, particularly his involvement in drug trafficking and murder, drew the attention of federal investigators. The FBI and other law enforcement agencies launched an intensive investigation into Casso's criminal enterprises, seeking to dismantle his operations and bring him to justice. As the investigation into his activities intensified, Casso's position within the Lucchese crime family began to erode. Internal power struggles and betrayal from within the organization further contributed to his downfall. Casso's brutal methods and ruthless behavior had created a climate of fear and distrust among his associates, making it easier for rivals and disaffected members to turn against him. One of the key moments in Casso's downfall came in 1993, when he was indicted on multiple charges, including racketeering, murder, and drug trafficking. The indictment was the result of a lengthy investigation and the cooperation of several key witnesses who had turned against him. The case against Casso was bolstered by evidence gathered during the investigation, including wiretaps and testimonies from former associates. Casso's arrest and subsequent trial were highly publicized, drawing significant media attention. The trial exposed the full extent of his criminal activities and the brutality with which he operated. Casso's defense was unable to counter the overwhelming evidence presented by the prosecution, leading to his conviction on multiple charges. Imprisonment and legacy. Following his conviction, Anthony Casso was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. His imprisonment marked the end of his reign of terror and brought a measure of justice to his many victims. Casso's time in prison was characterized by ongoing legal battles and attempts to appeal his conviction, but these efforts were ultimately unsuccessful. Despite his imprisonment, Casso's legacy as one of the most feared gangsters in American history endures. His criminal activities, marked by violence and brutality, have left a lasting impact on the criminal underworld. Casso's reputation as a ruthless and unrelenting figure has become a cautionary tale of the consequences of unchecked ambition and violence. The story of Anthony "Gaspipe" Casso serves as a stark reminder of the dark and dangerous world of organized crime. His rise to power, marked by a series of brutal acts and high-profile criminal enterprises, is a testament to the extremes to which some individuals will go in their pursuit of power and control. Casso's downfall, brought about by a combination of law enforcement efforts, internal betrayal, and legal challenges, highlights the eventual consequences of a life lived in the shadows of crime. In examining the life and criminal career of Anthony "Gaspipe" Casso, one is confronted with a complex and multifaceted figure whose impact on the world of organized crime was both significant and terrifying. His story is a chilling reminder of the lengths to which individuals will go to achieve their goals, and the eventual cost of a life lived outside the bounds of the law.